A new analysis by our partners at Cleveland.com found that Cleveland police underreported homicides in 2024 to both the public and in the FBI's annual crime report.
Yeah, the city reported 110 homicides to the FBI. Cleveland.com found 126 in their research. So Lucas Daprile conducted this research for Cleveland.com. He's with us now. Lucas, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate it. So we see the difference here. Can you help us understand what you studied to come to this conclusion?
Sure. So this is a part of a longer-term project that I've been working on since the beginning of the year, following up on every homicide that happened in 2024. You know, we wanted to know why these things were happening, where they were happening, what some of the causes and what happened with these cases. Were they still ongoing? Were they solved? All these sorts of things. And this was one of the results. We built a database and I was able to find the actual number of homicides and I compared them to what was reported. And this story is the product of that.
A lot of variables go into the reporting, the crimes themselves. In your article, you mentioned 4 specific cases that were not added to the total homicide count. Are there common denominators? Is there a sort of thread that connects any of those cases?
Yeah, some of these seem to be recurring clerical errors. One of those is anytime there was a double homicide, that was reported as one. They report case numbers, not number of bodies. So when you look at the actual sheet, you have 10 homicides from those 5 events, but that on the list only appears as 5 homicides. Another time is when you'll see they will respond to a report for a dead body. They'll find a body, or perhaps it starts with a missing person, and they'll investigate that. They'll charge someone if they find wrongdoing, but they don't go back and update that. And since they don't go back and update that, it doesn't get recorded as a homicide. It still shows up as a dead body, even if someone's been indicted for murder.
So it sounds like there's no indication the city intentionally lowered these numbers because there's so much involved in compiling them.
Yeah, I don't think Cleveland did this on purpose, and the reason why is because in their 114 homicides that they did report on their dashboard, which you can find on their website, there were a few cases in there that weren't actually homicides. Some of them were, like one of them was an assault. Somebody was beaten really, really badly. The officer thought the person would die from their injuries. Fortunately, the person survived, but the initial police report said murder. Or there was another one, for example, where there was a shooting. Again, fortunately, the victim survived, but attempted and murder were written on 2 separate lines. So however, in their system that happened, the murder got pulled out, separated from the attempted, and it was listed as a murder. So there's cases where they've reported cases as homicides that weren't homicides because of clerical errors. I think it's just these are clerical errors, but again, when you talk to Cleveland police, especially after high-profile events, they are really talking about how crime is down, and the data does look like crime is down. That I have found that's what I'm seeing as well. But if that is going to be their main talking point in discussing safety in the city, it is important to be as accurate as possible.
This is important work. Where can we find this report?
So this report's on Cleveland.com. It also will be in the Plain Dealer. We published it this morning on Cleveland.com, so you can go there to learn more.
And no response from the city?
Not yet. We talked a little bit earlier. They gave me some of their reasons why. And again, there are some factors here as to why they might report numbers different than the medical examiner. There are also murders that happened in Cleveland that were not investigated by Cleveland Police. It was Metro Parks or CMHA. So you can read all the nuance and the detail there at Cleveland.com.
Excellent. Lucas, always good to have you here. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Really appreciate it.
Very important work. Thank you, Lucas.